Every dream dies in the same place, in between intention and action. The space right there, that's where fear lives. And where fear shows up, it brings another thing called resistance. You felt it before. The voice that says you're not ready, the delay that turns into doubt, the idea that never starts because you convince yourself you're not ready. Fear is the whisper that tells you you'll fail, and resistance is the invisible force that makes sure you'll never try. But what if those things weren't meant to destroy you? What if they were there to test you? What if fear is proof that you're standing at the edge of your purpose and resistance is the gatekeeper that only lets in the ones who keep going? Today, we're not talking about external battles. We're talking about what happens in your mind every single day. Because before you can conquer the world, you've got to win the war inside yourself. Welcome back to the Clean Life Cast, where healing becomes a movement. I'm your host, Mason Anderson, and I'm here with my co-host, Daniel Tapusoa. Today, we're diving into two silent killers of potential, fear and resistance. Um, because the truth is, fear isn't just a bad thing. Sometimes it's a signal that you're moving in the right direction, and resistance is the wall that you have to climb and to step into who you were meant to be. So I'm super grateful to be back here, bro, and I'm super excited about this topic.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah. So it's inspired by a couple of books that I read recently, like this book called Level Up by Rob Dial, and I've this is my second time reading through it, but dude, this book is unreal.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody should check it out, honestly. And then the other one, which is crazy, is called The Art of War, or The War of Art. And
The War of Art.
yeah,
Mm.
and both of the chapters that I was on at the same time was fear and resistance, and they just like collided in this way that I was like,
Yeah.
man, we need to talk about these things for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Whew, they're super powerful things, and usually they're like twins, right? Inseparable twins. Fear comes along with resistance wherever it goes, and resistance usually brings fear, right? And it's usually like what you just said. It's usually their first cousin follows them, right? Fear will bring resistance, or resistance will bring fear, but not too far behind both of them is doubt.
Doubt, yep.
Yeah, but like you said in the beginning, usually those things creep up when you're doing something new. When you're doing something you've never done before, when you get into this space of uncomfortability. And a lot of times doubt creeps in right when you're about to make a breakthrough, um, right when you're about to try something new. And and it's important to just keep trusting in you. I just had this dope conversation with one of the people at work, and she was doubting. She was talking about, man, these people are talking about me, and it's bugging me. And I was like, I told her the reason. I said that used to happen to me for a lot. People talking behind my back, people saying things about me that weren't true. And I said, you know how I put a stop to that? And she says, how? I was like, because I know who I am now. Like I know who I am, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I can see that. And I was like, do you know who you are? And she was like, I'm doubting that right now. And I was like, well, sit down, go write down all the things that you believe to be true about you. And right next to those things, write the proof, find the evidence that whatever you believe about yourself is true, and find the proof of that.
Yeah,
And yeah, and whatever they that you heard them saying, or whatever you feel that they're talking about you about, write those down and look if you can find proof about that.
right.
Right?
Because fear, like that, in that sense, well, in most senses, like fear is like something that we've created inside of our brains anyway. They
Yeah.
say like the only fears that a person is born with is like the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises.
Yeah.
Everything else we've acquired like over time and through experiences in life.
Yeah.
But even in that book, it talks about like sometimes we acquire fears simply by other people's experiences. Like we don't even have to experience it ourselves. Some people will go through like a scary situation, be like, "Oh, I saw a snake on the trail
Yeah.
today," and blah blah blah, and it tried to attack me. And then all of a sudden, now every time we think of a snake, we're afraid.
Yeah.
But we didn't even have that experience. But
Yeah.
it's something that we just put into our memory base of like, okay, that's something to be scared of. And so then when that transfers into like fears of like being judged, or fears somebody's talking about you, or those type of fears, like those things are all accumulated over our lifetime, and they're not real.
Yeah.
They're not even our physical experiences. They're things that we've just thought up inside of our brains as to be scary.
Yeah, and we start ending up believing to be true, right? I heard this dope quote that goes along with this. We suffer more in our imagination than in our reality.
Oh, so true.
And it's because of the stuff you just said. We make it up, or we learn it from other people's experiences. I feel like besides born with what was it, falling and
Loud noises.
loud noises. Everything else is a learned behavior. All the fears that we have now is something that we've learned from our own experiences or from somebody else. But going along with that, we can also unlearn those,
That's right,
right? We
brother.
can unlearn those, and I feel like there's been a lot of fears for me, just speaking for myself, that came along this journey. The fear of man, I had a fear of like who I am, like imposter syndrome. Like, am I really a good guy? Can I really do good things? A lot of fear on failing at being those things. But finding out who I am going along this journey of recovery, um, I'm no longer fearful of the person that I'm becoming and that I am right now. Like, I found there's so much proof on the things that I do for me and for other people, and I hear it over and over. Mostly from myself, that I am a good person. I can overcome hard things, and I can pretty much do whatever I set my mind to. Not saying that it's going to be easy. None of it is. It's going to be worth it though. That's the part. Like,
Right.
these hard things and these fears that we face, a lot of times it's our own imagination that we tend to believe strongly about, but we can also unlearn those things.
Right, and it's something about that, like what you just said, like it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, and that fear that comes with like that, the hardest things is like that, those hard times that you're about to go through. There is a fear that's going to pop up that tells you like you don't want to do that. Then the resistance steps in and tells you like don't even try. But those things that you're resisting or having fear of the very most are the things that's going to push you the furthest. It's like that's the strength that you're going to build and need to
Yeah.
like keep moving. And something that I've gotten really good at through my recovery is like just pushing through the fear. It's like it doesn't matter if I feel fear, I'm gonna just step into it because like I've realized that every time I do that, I get a little bit further in my goal, further on my purpose, and further on my mission. And that's why like I just continuously keep pushing myself in directions of like places that I would be more afraid to put myself out there, be vulnerable, or like for instance, this podcast. Like this is something that has been talked about for years and years and years, making a podcast with so many different people, and it was always like, "Yeah, we'll do it one day," but that fear would pop up like, "Can I really do it? Do I know how?
Is
Like,
people really going to
is
listen?
anybody gonna care?" Yeah.
Is anybody going to learn anything? Or yeah.
And so, like, all those things popped up, and then the resistance stepped in where it was like, "Well, maybe I'll get around to it, maybe one day I'll do something about it." But then one day we start talking, and it's just like, "Let's just make it happen." Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna sit down. Me and him had to say, "All right, we're scheduling a day. We don't know what we're doing, but scheduling a day. You're gonna show up. We're gonna make it happen." And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And now the things are just unfolding in this way that it's like, I can't even imagine my life without the podcast now.
Yeah. Had we not both sat down and just set the date, I promise you, I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of doubts about sitting down and having a conversation with you and doing this podcast. Yeah, I went through the same things. Probably not the exact same things, but definitely fear and doubt. Um, Seeing if I was even somebody that could relate a message that for people to understand, or even just talk about certain things that you want to talk about.
For sure.
Um, but I like the part where you say that's the part where you level up, and if you've learned to lean into these fears, because on the other side of it is extreme growth, right? Like, there's so much growth in leaning into fear and doubt. Um, I said it before, it's God's sense of humor of giving you a test about something you know nothing about, and when the test is done, He'll offer the lesson,
Right.
right?
And you
And
learn the
that's where the
lesson.
growth comes. Is just, I was just listening to this guy, and he said that the one thing you can do to get through pretty much what we're talking about right now is whatever you want to do, just start. Sometimes the hardest thing about anything new is starting. And if you just start it, write it down like how you did. We were talking at Rachel and those guys' pool party, and you said, we were talking about set a date, and you said, "Okay, meet me at my house on Tuesday at 10 o'clock." And had doubts, but I showed up, and then what we do, we just start.
We just start. And what was funny about that situation is on Tuesday morning, Daniel shows up and he's like, "Bro, I was just gonna wait, and if you didn't call me, then I wasn't gonna
Yeah,
come through." And I was doing the same thing in my bed,
yeah,
like, if you don't call, I guess we won't do it today.
yeah. But we were both like, okay, we'll see who makes the first move. But powered through it.
Powered through it
And
and
here we
made
are
it.
now. What is this? Episode 13?
13. Let's go.
Episode 13. Lucky number 13. Let's go.
And when we did the very first episode, I was in my mind like, man, imagine when we're at 10 episodes. Imagine when we're at 20 episodes, how much easier and more fluent this will be. And it
Yeah.
just has gotten so much better each episode.
And this is proof of how me and him are talking and how we bounce ideas off each other, or how we conversate, of what the other side of fear and doubt looks like,
That's right, brother.
just based off this podcast. Like where we at now is episode 13. Yeah, I was sitting at my house. I stay at Wasatch Sober Living, and I was like, okay, if Mason doesn't text me or he doesn't call me, I'm not going. I'm not going. And then I don't know who texts who first, but it was like, all right, I'm on my way.
Yeah, we
And
just
then,
pushed through.
yeah, and now here we are, right? And you never know where you're gonna go. Like the thing about any of these things, if you never push through, you're just gonna stay where you are, and you already know what goes on where you are. What's on the other side of this thing? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
And if it's not like a success, say like we started this podcast and it fizzled out or whatever, that's okay, because then we can just use it for the next podcast we
Yeah.
start. We have like all these skills and things that we learn along the way. That's like a failure is not really a failure ever
No.
if you just keep going.
If you learn from them.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison has a museum of failed inventions, inventions. I read this thing that said his success rate is the light bulb, and if you put it on a percentage, it's 0.089 success rate. But we still talk to him today, right? What I learned from that is somebody that's refused to give up, right? Like he made all these inventions that nobody liked. He didn't care. He was going to do something. He kept pushing forward. Fear and doubt probably crept through his mind too, but he kept going, right? Like not knowing what he was going to discover about himself or for other people. And now there's light bulbs all over the place, and we still talk about them.
Right. It's so amazing, bro.
Yeah.
There's like a piece that I want to talk about between like resistance and like the resistance that paralyzes people, or the fear that paralyzes people, and then the fear that pushes people. Because they in that book it talks about how like fear can be one of the biggest motivating factors that we have in our life, but it also can be something that stops us dead in our tracks from moving forward. And so like when I think about like the fear that paralyzes me, that's that like us, luckily we pushed through it, but
Yeah.
that fear of like, if you don't call, I ain't gonna do it. Like that fear is gonna be paralyzing. And then say we didn't meet up that day, say we never started this, like where would we be at today?
Yeah.
But then on the other end of it, like in that book, he talks about like he has a healthy fear of like getting to his deathbed and realizing like he didn't put everything he had into the world that he wanted to, you know? And so he uses that as a motivating factor to keep him going in the directions that and his purpose and his mission. And so I feel like that for myself, like when I think of my fear that motivates me, like maybe it's like something along the lines of that, where it's like I want to give something to the world that is like a piece of me that is like I feel like I'm contributing. I want to be of service to people. I want to make sure that my family's taken care of. And so like if I turn the fear side of those things, it's like I fear that like financially my family won't be set up, or I fear that like I'll get through my life and die as a drug addict. You know what I mean? Like that's a real fear, and that's something that I can't have in my life. You know, I have to live my purpose and be who I was meant to be, and so I think that that's a healthy fear that keeps me moving.
Yeah, and it helps motivate you to keep pushing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. Like, it's hard for me to find right now off the top of my head any fear that would freeze or stop me in my tracks right now.
That's
Because
awesome.
of the things that I've done. I'm pretty sure there's some. I just off the top of my head right now I can't. But my fear probably that I use as motivation is the same, right? Like I remember talking to Sean. He was one of the therapists at Wasatch Recovery, and he asked me, "What is one of your goals?" And I said, "One of my goals is because like I wasn't world famous in the dope world, but everybody around like I a lot of people knew me in the dope world, in West Valley from that month to this month. And I told him one of my goals is to become so strong in my recovery to where my good name would go out and smother out that name. And it's been working. Like I told you about my cousin Pete, I said on my podcast, I said the goal is to make my name strong enough to reach out there, um, and smother out that name without me having to go there. And this podcast came up, and I start shooting him the podcast, and now he's playing it for other people that are still out there using, and it's working. But like my fear is that like I just don't I just want to break even and be on a positive side when I die, right? I want to leave this world. um you ever hear people like when you go over to somebody's house, leave it better than when you left?
Yeah,
That part,
I love that, bro.
right? Like when I leave this world, I want to make sure that everything I've done bad, and I've been making a living amends, and I'm pretty sure I covered it, but I'm not gonna stop because I covered it. I want to leave it better than when I got here. I want to leave it better than what I saw when I was still using. I want to leave a big enough trail where all the homies still out there using can find a path. It's not this little trail that you have to uncover. It's going to be a well-blazed trail enough you can see from the moon.
Right.
Like I want to my fear is to make the world a better place than what I got, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I love
Yeah.
that. And I think that that's a solid thing for a motivator because uh it's like mission driven and purpose driven, and
Yeah.
when you have that a purpose and a mission, and that's what's driving your energy, I think that that's like one of those things you can wake up for every single day,
Yeah.
and you'll never accomplish it because it's a
No.
such a big journey that it's like it's something you can blast for forever, and then you can also uh enlist help from other people to
Yep.
blaze that journey, and then as that goes, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger
Yeah.
because it's a one of those things that we can always be striving for.
Yeah, but it's like joining forces with people like you that will make the trail wider,
All right, I love
right?
that.
Like me by myself, I can only swing this wide, and that's as big as the trail goes. But if I add you to my community and other people, we stand side by side and blaze this trail wide enough to where everybody can see it.
Yeah, I love that so
It's
much.
still going to be their choice whether they walk this trail or not, but it's laid down before them.
Right, it's an option if they want it.
Yeah, and it's easy to find.
So, like something that goes along with that is like when you talk about like community and resistance, like how does community help you with pushing through resistance?
Like being able to the main thing is being able to talk to people when I have doubt and fear, which brings along resistance, right? Like I'm sorry, but these like the main go-to person for me.
She's a bomb.
Yeah. D Noise. Her last name is Noise now, but
You know, it's,
like I've used her so many times. I'd call her on the phone and be like, bro, this stuff is not working out. And there's been a lot of times where she gets in a screaming match with me and they're like, are you dumb, bro? Like, do you even hear yourself? Like the part of community for me is being able to reach out to people when I doubt myself that will tell me the same thing I had what I said at my conversation earlier. That will correct me of my thinking errors and put me in a place of understanding and point out like who I am to me
right.
when doubt and resistance. And the resistance, it's crazy because the resistance is like me having a tug of war with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one causing the resistance. As
Right.
soon as I can say, "Hey, stop, come on this side," there's no
Well,
resistance.
that's what's crazy about fear and resistance and a lot of things, but it's a you thing, it's a me thing. It's
Yeah,
like it's just inside of me. That the fears that I've built up about like not being good enough or not being accepted or things not working out for me. Those are all like not real. And so it's like I built that in my mind, and then I live my daily life on like this fear of like, oh, what if this happens? But it's like I saw a quote that said something like we're always so worried about like what if it doesn't work out, but what about the other side of it? What if it does work
yeah.
out? What if
That's funny because I just heard this. I forgot his name, but he's a well-known guy. He was in the military, but he's all super motivational speaker. And this lady said, "Kay, when you think things are not going to work out, when you're just caught up, oh, and it fits this topic perfect. When you're caught up in doubt and you about to give up, what is at in that moment, what is the one thing you say to yourself?" And he said, "What if?" Not the what if it don't work out, but the what if it does. He said that when he joined the Marines, the guy in charge said, "You know, there's only been 35 African Americans to make it through," and he said, what if I'm the 36?
So fire.
Right? And he uses what if on a positive side of it, not the not working out part, but the what if it does work out. And that's what keeps pushing him through resistance, through doubt, and through fear.
That's so awesome, bro.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that like fear and resistance is like somehow like a compass towards the things that we should be working on?
Can we say that again?
Like, do you feel like the fear and resistance is somehow like a compass or a directing us into the things that we should be focused on?
I think so. I think so. I think that's like the north point on the compass, right? Like you go down the same path. There's that has no resistance or easy to walk through. There's no growth, right? That's like being comfortable right here. I'm comfortable right here. When you say, as soon as you say, for okay, not anybody else but me, as soon as I say I'm comfortable right here, that's me settling the rest of my life.
Right,
And I'm not settling for nothing, bro. I'm accepting that I'm sitting here knowing that if I put in work, I will grow. And the fear is the path, right? Because that's where the growth will happen on the other side of it,
right, bro. I
right?
love that so much, and
Yeah,
it's so true. And I think that that's dead on because I think that something about the things that we fear the most are the things that our souls are like pulling us towards. It's like something like that we're afraid to overcome or afraid to push through, and it's because like our soul immediately says this is the path, and then our brain immediately says, "Wait a
yeah,
minute, you can't do that." You know?
yeah. But going back to what you said, it's an internal battle of self,
Right,
right? These are things that we're battling ourselves. Our soul understands that's where we're supposed to be. Our brain, through all these experiences from self or from other people's experiences, are saying, "No way, bro, that's too dangerous." And it's probably like a safety mechanism our brain is doing for our body, not understanding that our soul is right on this one. Like if we get on the other side, you can't even understand the growth and the strength and the the all these opportunities that you'll build for yourself just by getting through this one thing, and then when you do, then the brain goes, I was so worried.
I'm so
And the
worried.
soul was like, bro, don't worry, I got you. I'm not gonna walk us off a cliff, you know. But
And
I
then
like,
but you're right, bro, it's a safety mechanism that we built since, like, the beginning of time because back when we were, like, hunter-gatherers and things like that
yeah,
and had to, like, really live in the wild, it's like, uh, we had a lot of fears that came
yeah,
up that were, like, like, vital, like,
yeah,
we needed them to stay alive, like, and, so we built all these, like, mechanisms in our brain to be, like, protect us
yeah,
from
for
danger.
survival, right?
Right, and so and those things that actually like, if there's a lion in the bush, like, you hear that's like,
Yeah,
then we need to be afraid, you know? And so
yeah,
when you're in physical, like, animate danger and there's things that are, like, that you might die from or something like that, then it's, like, healthy to have fear.
yeah,
But then, uh but then because we live in such a society today where it's like we have a lot of, like, luxuries, we're in a lot better place, we're so far along in our, evolution,
yeah.
we don't have those, like, everyday, physical dangers
Of living
anymore.
in the jungle, right?
Yeah, and so now we have all these mental dangers that we've built up inside our brains. It's
Yeah,
like we have this like panic that kicks in and then releases all these emotions and all these chemicals in our body and causes us to be living in a state of stress and anxiety and fear for things that aren't like gonna kill us
yeah,
that we're gonna make it through if we just push, you know?
yeah. And there's two different kind of fears. What you just said, the fear of a lion in the bush. When you hear it growl, you understand it's a lion. The fear that we're talking about right now is usually comes from the something that we know nothing about.
Right,
It's the fear of the unknown, right? But if you go through it, right, and going through something that you don't know what it's going to do for you, I feel like coming through recovery, I've done a lot of things that I've never thought I would ever do or never even understood what they were for.
right,
But then here I am now. Like there's so much growth in pushing towards something and not knowing, not the unknown, like, oh, let's go hike up a mountain and not know where we're going, but like going towards something and not knowing what's gonna happen on the other side of it. That's the unknown part.
right,
Right? Like usually people want to draw a map and know the path they're gonna take and every route. This guy said if the plan messes up, change the plan. The plan is not the destination is,
right,
right? Like make your plan and go through it because if the plan changes, that means you're still going through whatever the unknown is. You're facing your fear, you're getting rid of doubt, and there's no more resistance. There might be some resistance, but all you have to do is let go of the rope and start pushing in the same direction.
right.
Usually the resistance comes from within.
Well, and then something that's like you said that where it probably will be, it will be, like fear and resistance is like, it's not gonna go away. It's not something that you're gonna conquer and never have again. It's like it's something that you're gonna have to continuously work at. It's like we're gonna continuously push through fears. We're gonna continuously, unless you stay in your comfort zone, and even then you'll have things that creep in a different way. But
Yeah,
but if you're really trying to strive for something in life and you really want to elevate, you're gonna feel fear. You're gonna feel that resistance come up that tells you you can't do it, and you're gonna have to just tell yourself like I'm gonna push through anyway.
yeah,
And I think that like something that Wendy told me that kind of plays into this in a side way, but like something about like so if you think people are thinking about you or you think that like people are talking about you, whatever, the why not think that maybe they're saying the best case scenario,
yeah. If
and
you're
it's
gonna
kind
assume the best.
yeah, assume the best.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah,
And so like that's kind of the same idea as like if you're gonna assume that like you don't there's the unknown, why not assume that like maybe the unknown most positive thing could happen out of the experience, you know?
yeah. That's the problem with a lot of the assuming or the fear is we tend to focus on the negative side of it. But if you want to give yourself a fair playing ground, think of the positive that happens too, and just go through it. Like if you give it your best shot wherever you land, that's good. And as long as you can learn from it, you know, as long as you can learn from it and not be able to make the same mistakes where you couldn't hit your goal the first time. But as long, Nelson Mandela said, I never lose, I win or I learn. Like every experience you go through, I feel like you can learn. If you learn nothing, you wasted your time. But we never knew we would make it to episode 13.
Never.
A lot of fear and doubt in starting this whole thing, but we just started. There's so much to gain from going through something that you don't know how it's going to turn out. But that's where the growth happens. Whether it turns out the way you want it to, or it doesn't, or not the way you want it to, it doesn't matter. As long as you put in the work and aim for it and go through it, there's a lot of growth. If it doesn't work out, understand what you did that made it not work out and then run it again without making the same mistakes.
Right. Now, for those of the people out there that are struggling, take everything we just said and now put that into like showing up at detox on day one or showing up to treatment. And it's like, there's going to be fear. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be
Yeah.
so many things in your life that you're going to say, I can't because, I got a job, or I can't because my dog, or I can't because, whatever, that you're going to have that resistance and fear no matter what. But if you just trust the process and step in, and then who knows if it could turn out something amazing. Cause like for my personal experience, like I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. And I'm not even, there's not even a close second, you
Yeah.
know?
Like the gap between first and second is a big gap. And Mason's been through a lot. I've been through a lot. And yet we sit here talking about recovery. The fear and doubt will creep in. Like I used to always go sit outside at Wasatch Recovery on the wall right outside the black gates and try to convince myself to leave. Like I was so scared of what was going to happen in there. And yet I still went back in the house, not understanding what was going to become of what I was going through. And so much good came from it.
So
So
much good.
much good.
More good than I could have ever even dreamed
Yeah.
up in the beginning. And
Which
I've
is
been
why this is
sober
a big
before.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Which is why this is such a big first place compared to second, right?
Right, true. That's so true. And it's like, and I've been sober before, I've been clean before, but something about like really locking in and learning to thrive, learning to like build my mindset in a way that's really been beneficial for my life, really having real connections with really great people. Like my spirituality is on point. And it's not like all these things just popped up, like they were work and effort and there's a ton of resistance the whole entire way through. But it's like, there's not even like it was worth it in every which way I can think of. Like it's still a struggle and it's still hard on days, but it's not the same kind of struggle and it's not as hard as it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's like in the hard days now are because I'm doing positive things. Like my hard day now is like I'm so busy. I have meetings with my sponsee. I have meetings with all the people I'm helping get involved in Clean Life. I have a podcast today, and
You
then I
have a
have a meeting
job,
for my temple thing, and then
you
then
have
I
a
have a job.
job, and you go to church every Sunday.
Yeah. It's
Like
like,
different kind of hard,
I
different
got
kind of problems.
am I gonna be able to fit the gym in and yoga or not? It's
Yeah.
like that's my hard days, you know what I mean? So it's
Which
like
is so dope, right? Um, I was talking to this Asian guy, and he said that we can all be the we can all control our own fate and be the master of our soul as as long as we can understand that life comes from you and not at you, it's what you make of it. And of course, there's going to be fear and doubt. Of course, there's going to be resistance. There's still some resistance come up for me. Just because you get clean and off of drugs and alcohol doesn't mean life is going to be a cakewalk. It's just going to be a different walk in a whole different park,
All right.
right? It's not going to be the same walk in the same jungle, turning every corner and there's a trap house or some dude smoking a pipe. Like that's not around me, anywhere near me right now. It's like I'm living a whole different life. I jumped through a realm and I'm in a
Portal.
whole different, yeah, some kind of portal. And it's crazy because this is all new terrain for me. There's all these experiences are all new to me. Talking to people that I would have never crossed paths if I never went through recovery. Meeting great people, giants in my life that I learned from. Still, I still take knowledge from these people. I still have great conversations that put me on this high that you can't even buy. I promise you, whatever dope is out there, you can't buy a high that as the high I get from doing this, from conversating with people like Mason. Like, there's no money that you can put on this that makes you feel better than this. I promise you that.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
You know,
So, some that came up, you said something about, the internal. You said something about, dang it, I wish I could remember. You said
the
something.
resistance comes from inside, or
No, you weren't talking about resistance. You were talking about, the motivation or something. You just barely said it, but we'll have to come back to it on the next
oh,
episode.
all about the master of your fate and the captain. You can you can be the master of your fate or the captain of your soul, as long as you understand that life comes from you and not at you.
That's so hard. I love
You
that
know,
so much, and that's something that's a whole nother topic we're actually gonna hit on, but it's so true, like, when you think about it, like, the fear and resistance comes from inside of you, your motivation comes from inside of you. Nothing on the external is anything but a reflection of who you are becoming
oh,
on the inside,
I
and
believe that.
I think that that's, like, it's something that has been such a huge key to everything. I just finished reading The Science of Getting Rich book, and it talks about, like, the your energy that you're bringing into the world is why you're getting all the things you get back. Like, if you're coming with a heart of service, if you're coming with a heart of love, if you're coming with a heart of compassion and support, you're going to get those things back. If you're coming at it with like an energy that, like, you do deserve what's best for you and you do deserve the good things in your life, you're going to have those reflected back to you, because that's just how it works. And then, now that I'm in the state that I'm in, and I have such a good contrast from where I was before, it's like there's no doubt in my mind that the more internal work that I'm doing, the better my life is becoming. It's like I'm not building like I built Clean Life. We are doing this podcast. I do have some coaching things going on, and I have a lot of external things that have come about, but none of that has come except for me doing the internal work to be the man that needs to be that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I know for a fact that this internal journey is what's fueling everything that's happening on my external life.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, I
I
love
love that, brother.
thank you. Yeah.
But it is a reflection of all the work you're putting in, right? Different kind of different kind of problems in a whole different park,
They have a whole different park, yeah.
but all still, it's all still. If you look at it, like if it's all still, life comes from you. Like all these things that you talk about that you got going on is stuff that you went and did, right?
Right,
You went and did church, and now that's part of you. You went and did temple, now that's part of you. All these things that you talk about that are in your life and trying to fit them all in. You went to the gym, that's part of you. You went to yoga. It's all stuff that come from you,
right.
right?
And had I stayed in that state of, like, brokenness and fear, I would have never done any of it. There's no way I would have put myself at a church in front of a community of people that I wouldn't have done that. There's no way I would have went into temple and be killing it in temple, actually, because, like, I would be afraid to talk to people and put myself out there. And even though I'm offering an opportunity to people, I still would have been more comfortable just staying in myself and just minding my own business. That's something that I learned through being on drugs and in prison and locked up a lot. It was like, mind your own business and stay in your own lane,
Yeah.
and that's something that is valid, but not the way to expand a community and way to connect well with other people.
Yeah, but if you take that same thought, right, it's perspective, right? Before, mind your own business was the way to do it. Now, you can still take that mindset of mind your own business, only your business is what everybody wants,
That's so awesome,
right?
bro.
And you're minding your own business, which is you. You're your own business. You take care of all the things of self care, of being impeccable with your word, of being honest with you, having integrity with you. That's your business, and everybody gets a byproduct of that. Temple gets a byproduct. Like all these guys are getting a little piece of your business, which is you, because you're reflecting it to the world,
Right.
and everybody wants a piece of it
It's awesome,
because
brother.
you've been minding your business so well. You've been putting the stocks in your business so high to where everybody wants to buy now,
Yeah, it's so awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Now we take something that was, mind your own business. Hey, mind your business, bro. Now we're taking it as like this is my business and I'm minding it really well. Would you like to jump in?
Yeah, for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah, I'm minding
Yeah,
it
bro.
really well.
Really well. I mind my business really well. I bet you want some of this business. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is how healing becomes a movement,
This is
right?
so
We
true.
take care of ourselves. We do self care. We express ourselves really well, and we and learn as much as we can. And like Damien Trujillo said, one of his biggest asset is his story because now he can tell it in a way to leave hope and strength.
And it's so true. And that's something that I've been using a lot lately everywhere I've been going is just like, because that's so powerful.
Yeah,
That every struggle that I've been through, every hard time, even back to as a child, like for some reason now, if I put it out into the world, it's been a benefit to my life. It's an asset.
yeah,
And it's like I'm not afraid to put it out there now because I realize that it's helping people change their lives too.
yeah,
It's like it's the light that people need something that we were just talking about is like that balance between like internal work and community and like it's just like a relationship. It's like if you're in a relationship with somebody that you love, you can't just live for that other person. You have to become the best version of yourself so that person can have that good person with them. And
yeah,
so it's like as a community, all of us go internal, do the work out our hard things, and then come together in one group. And it's like we're all doing our part, not by going outward as much as we're going inward.
yeah. And the reason for that love goes back. If we'll take it back to yoga and something Tina taught me, namaste, and it
Namaste.
says the light in me reflect. Uh, I forgot what the words is, but it's the light in me sees the light in you. I
Right.
don't know the exact words,
That's it.
but that's what it means. Namaste, and I love that because doing all this internal work is you being the best you and attracts other people being the best them. And then you guys both acknowledge the light in each other,
Right.
where love and community becomes stronger and healing does become a movement in that way. So many different ways on taking mind your business or whatever you want to take and pushing it towards something positive. There's a way to do it. We're proof that you can put in work, get through some fear, get through doubt, get rid of resistance, and put yourself in a better spot.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I think like when we talk about like that namaste thing, like the light in me sees the light in you, or the
Yeah,
God in me sees the God in you.
yeah,
That's how Damien was saying it. And like, and something about that piece is like so massive because like from any walk of life or any way you can see in a person's soul, you're like, you know what, like somewhere in there we connect. And then the people that are doing things that you are inspired by or look up to, or that are doing things that you're like, man, that's amazing, like something about that resonance is something that you feel inside yourself that you could be onto. Like it's like you wouldn't recognize it if it wasn't something that you vibe with, you
yeah.
know.
And it's kind of like exactly what Cam was saying last week or our last podcast. Spot it, you got it.
Spotty, you got it. Yeah, he
Right.
did say
Remember
that.
he was
Yeah.
talking about it, but he said he flipped it to where because usually when you say that it's in a negative light, but he said, no, if I see love in you, it's because I got love too.
Yeah, and that's so true. And
Yeah.
Cam does have a lot of love. Shout out to Cam and D for their wedding, bro.
Yeah.
Let's
That was so
go.
fun.
That was a blast. We got out there and had a good time.
Yeah.
I haven't really been to many weddings, bro, and not since I was a kid or whatever, but like to see some friends like actually fall in love, do the thing, get
Yeah.
married, it was powerful.
That whole thing is like a love story. We probably got to have both of them come on here and tell sometime. But like to be in love high, right? They met high, fell in love, and then both get clean are two whole different people from how they were in their addiction and still be able to love each other. And they just recently got married. Congratulations to them. It was so dope to watch.
Do you know what's pointed out to me just recently is like two of the females that we brought on, or not females, I guess Cam, but we haven't brought on D yet. But two of the people that we brought on were in relationships in addiction with Sharice and Wayne,
Oh yeah, and
and
then
then
fell in love
yeah, got
after clean.
got clean and then came back together,
Yeah.
made it work, which is no, it's like 1 in a million. It feels like, but apparently it's 2 in a million and maybe more. It's like
Well, we just attract dope people, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, we just have some badass people in our lives that hold down their own, you know?
yeah, do real work because
Yeah,
that's not an easy task, and it takes 2 people really diving in and really doing the work on
yeah,
both sides, and that's something that it's hard enough to get 1 person to do the work, let alone 2 people.
yeah, together.
Yeah,
But then it goes back to where you're saying, like, putting in the work for you and being the best you, attracting those people when you see them around in the community. I feel like that's the reason why it's easy for us to have these solid people is because we draw solid people towards us.
right, and it
Not
just keeps getting better.
Yeah, and it's not walking around saying, I'm solid, I'm solid. It's just the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk, the way we are. It's transparent, it's honest, and it's love, some compassion, and just spreading it out the world. And whoever draws to it, they draw to it. And most of the time, it's superpowers like those two. If Cam, like how Jay-Z and Beyonce are a power couple, or like, remember when Brad and Angelina was, and they had a nickname for them, like Brandelina or something like
Yeah.
that. If Cam and D had a nickname, their nickname would be Damn.
That's fu
Damn. No, my
Oh,
bad.
damn.
Sorry.
That's so funny. I think that like something about like this back to like courage though is like in spiritual muscles. Like I think that like the more that we push through that resistance and that fear, we build like this spiritual muscle inside of us that gets better and it gets easier to push through. Like the bigger the task, the more resistance we're gonna feel. But all of a sudden those bigger tasks that keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because we're like, well, if I did that, maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
And that's why like I think like on this journey that I'm on in my personal life, it's like each step of the way has become so much more, um, like more it has more purpose and mission and service in it, but it's also like been more, I get so much from it, like from the things that I'm doing and the things that we're doing as a community and like the work that we're putting in. It's like I get so much internal love and happiness from the things that I'm accomplishing. And it's like, that's a beautiful thing, bro. Like putting in the work has built a stronger spiritual, um, courage inside of me that I'm just so grateful for.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like none of the work I put in was ever to find courage,
That's
right?
true.
Like I wasn't out looking for courage. I wasn't out trying to get stronger. All I was trying to do was get better. But by facing fear, like by going through the things that I didn't understand, um, I gained strength. I was able to gain courage enough to where when the bigger things came along, I had some confidence. We had a confidence episode a couple weeks ago, but I gained confidence in understanding that I can do hard things. That when things do come up, I'm still able. I'm not gonna die going through these things. Just gotta go on the other side and find out what's over there, and grew stronger. And then started understanding what strength and courage was. By going through the process and understanding that I do have strength. All of a sudden, I am strong. All of a sudden, I am brave.
Well,
But
what's crazy about that is like people think like your purpose or whatever comes after you have confidence and you're ready to go. But
no,
in reality, it's like you build the confidence through like purpose driven action or
yeah,
for through taking the steps.
yeah,
So that courage didn't you didn't build courage and then do the thing. It's
yeah,
like you did the thing and then courage came.
yeah. It's. I I just listen to a lot of motivational stuff. So if I say a lot of quotes or
We
this
love it,
guy,
bro.
yeah, this guy said that most of the time what we're trying to gain, we'll feel the opposite first. In order to get courage, first you're gonna feel scared
Right.
or bravery, right? You're gonna feel scared first, and then as you go through the scary things, you become brave. If you want to get strong, most of the time when you first go to the gym, you're gonna feel weak
Hmm.
until you start putting in the work and then you start lifting more weights and adding more plates to it. And then all of a sudden you're strong. If you're learning something new, you're going to feel dumb because it's brand new until you understand that you are capable and that you can do new things. Next thing you know, you find out you're brilliant,
Yeah. Find out
right? A
that you
lot of
have all
times,
the tools and everything you need.
yeah, a lot of times, whatever we're trying to get to, we'll feel the opposite. Also filled with doubt, right?
Right.
Doubt and resistance. But whatever we're trying to get, usually we feel the opposite of that before we gain what we're trying to get.
And then that's exactly where the fear and the resistance creep in, is
Yeah.
that moment when you feel like, I'm at the gym, I feel weak, I don't feel like, then all of a
Yeah,
sudden are afraid, and then all of a sudden you have this resistance. It's like, why am I even here?
yeah,
Those type of things. And that's where it seeps in, and it's cunning. You know what I mean? Like fear and resistance will creep in the most creative ways. Like it will
yeah,
get you overly focused on the how to's, or overly focused on like the reading the books and preparing and doing all those things, instead of just actually doing
yeah.
and being and
I,
actually just pushing the steps. And that's something about motivation too, is like the motivation it waxes and wanes, and sometimes you have more motivation than others. But if you live off motivation, you're never going to make it. You have to live off the discipline, and then the motivation comes after.
yeah. And then going back to the gym thing, and feeling weak before you feel strong. I remember I remember sitting in there and watching these big guys walk by, and I was like, I should be there. I started shaming myself, and I still sat there and I went through it, and for like maybe around a month or 3 weeks, I don't know. It was a couple weeks into me going to gym. I finally caught all these thinking errors of me supposed to be there. I was comparing. You know how people said no cap before? I know they don't really say it no more, but it came to me that I had to make an acronym for myself. So I came up with no cap. It stands for no comparing, no assuming, or no personalizing, right?
Let's
I need
go.
to stop comparing myself to all these big dudes because they've been to the gym and they put in their own work. That's not fair to me. I need to stop assuming that I will never get there, and I can't take it personal, right? It's not their fault that they put in work. It's my fault that I'm just starting. I'll accept that. And because I can accept it, I can grow and one day be one of those guys.
That's so
Right. So
fire.
no comparing, no assuming, no personalizing, and just thinking how it relates to fear, doubt, and resistance. Those three things can power through a bunch of those fear you feel, bunch of the doubt you feel. Right. Don't compare yourself to people that's doing the same thing and might be further along than you, or might know a little bit more than you. Don't assume that they're cheating, and don't take it personal because you're not at the level of other people doing the same thing. Just understand that you are just starting whatever you're just starting, and you're gonna pick up as you go, and you're gonna find your footing, and then someday you'll get into a speed, that you're comfortable with, and keep growing.
I love that so much, brother, and that's like, that was some power. That's
Yeah,
some power information right there, because, like, the comparison thing is what kills most people's dreams.
yeah.
It's like, I did it so hard.
Oh, yeah,
I still do it so hard, but I'm doing a lot better now. I'm being more grateful for the people that went before me, the people that I can look up to and think, like, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, a lot of that came after the fact of being like, "Man, I'm never gonna be that," you know?
yeah,
I'm never gonna have I do it with Russ a lot, bro, and his
yeah,
music. Like, I'm like, "Dang," like, that's on a whole nother level, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, "Damn," like, but then I'm like, "If you can do it, I can do it."
yeah,
Like, yeah, all the difference is you put in that work steady
yeah.
every day and made it happen.
But that's true. And usually when you compare, most of the time the words come out is like, I can't be that. I can't get on that level, or I should be there. Right?
Uh,
All shame words.
right?
Right? Get
That
rid of, yeah, get rid of all that crap.
should and shame,
Yeah.
so all those ch words
Yeah.
are sc, but it's like,
CH, and yeah, but like when you use I should, to me that's like you shaming.
bro, I'm gonna just say this real quick, because something about this is stuck in my mind so heavy. But I was in this thing called this program called All Team Health,
Yeah.
and I had this therapist who talked to me about like that should, I shouldn't have, or
Yeah.
sound
Yeah.
was something that had to do with like our early, like way back in the day before we had words,
Yeah.
and they would use to like
Yeah.
to push people down. Like that's like a sound that
That,
they make to like
yeah, to,
compress them and make
yeah.
them like stop. And so now all these shouldn't, shame,
Shame.
all
Yeah.
those words, like, so now when I hear those words, like that stands out
Yeah.
so heavy, and it's like it
Damn.
reminds me of like that's things that are trying to hold us back in
That's
resistance.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a wild.
And then you do it to yourself.
Yep.
Yep. Like I should have. That's you pushing yourself down.
Right.
Yeah.
Helping you, pushing that resistance on yourself.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, fear will always whisper, resistance will always push back. But every time you show up, take the step and do it anyway, you win another battle in the inner war. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the fear to leave. Just take the steps, because the moment you move through resistance is the moment the purpose starts to lead the way. And remember, the healing isn't just personal, it's a movement, and we do it together.
Yep. It's definitely a moment. And the more people you can do it together with, the more you can heal.
Let's go. I'm getting stronger and stronger every day.
Yeah, every day. Stronger, faster, better, or whatever the last one
Okay,
said.
I love you guys. Hey,
Love you
thanks you for
guys.
tuning in. Hey, make sure if you like this that you share it or subscribe and like talk to people about it.
Yeah,
It's moving and we want it to keep going and we're just gonna keep pushing.
yeah.
So
And
love you
good
guys
looking. Love you guys. Good looking out to everybody else that's still been tuning in, that's still been listening to every episode. Even if you just listened to one, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for joining the movement with us.
for sure. And that's
Yeah.
something that I've been thinking about heavy lately is like our actual followers, the people that listen to all of our podcasts and all of the people that tune in. Like that means more to me than I could even put into
Yeah.
words. I'm not even gonna
Tell
try.
them how many streams are you.
Oh, we're at 525 in streams.
Oh.
Let's go, dude. We've been doing great, and
Yeah.
it's all because of you guys and the support that we get from all you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you guys.
Love you with all my heart.
Love you guys.